Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Adventure 14 here. So today I'm going to be bringing you a my life story time. I made one of these, was it this year or last year? I forget. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my bigger adventures and long distance adventures, and that was when I went to Arizona. As some people here may know, I live somewhere in Pennsylvania. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So for the start of my journey, I had one of the hardest tasks that I have ever undertaken, and that was trying to pack in such a way that they will let you through an airport. Though really, security would have been easy if it wasn't for this one guy. Now see, you're going to need a little bit of backstory for this next part. I have something called growth hormone deficiency, and it's basically where the pituitary gland in the front of your head, it's kind of near the front of your head, it's part of your brain, doesn't produce growth hormone. I'm stumbling through this a little bit because I haven't explained this to anybody for a good long time. So basically, I have this injector. It's like a shot. It has like these, it's like a certain amount of liquid in it, and it has these like little hypodermic needles. And every night I stab myself in the arm, and the thing goes like click, 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 and it injects the growth hormone. And then I grow up big and strong and normal instead of small and puny and weak and sickly, including heart issues by the time I'm like 30. So of course, I'm going to be in Arizona for a week, right? So I have to take this shot with me. So I have it in my backpack inside of a cooler. This dude on X-ray sees it inside X-ray and absolutely loses his mind. Starts getting in my face. What do you have in your bag, huh? What is in there? And I'm like, I don't know, man. It could be an electric toothbrush, maybe. And he's like, that's not like any kind of electric toothbrush I've ever seen. And I was like, chill, dude. Like, I can't imagine what it could be. It's something that I packed. And he's like, yeah, it is something that you packed. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in there. And I wasn't being like a smart aleck with this guy. This guy was just kind of a jerk. I wanted to use more colorful language there, but I'm trying to keep this family friendly. This is one of my family friendly videos. So this guy starts taking everything out of my bag on this counter, right? Like he's just kind of throwing stuff all around. I'm like, hey, can you be careful? And he's like, just stand back. So he finally gets near the bottom of the bag, and he runs across this cooler that the shot is stored in. He looks at me, looks at the cooler, looks back at me and says, what is this? What is in here? And I must have had the biggest aha moment on my face ever because I went, oh, it's my growth hormone shot. He looks at me, obviously wanting an explanation of some kind, and I explain to him my condition. He doesn't believe me, right? So he's like, how do I get this open? And I'm like, you just do the zipper, and I reach my arm out to point at the zipper that he's supposed to undo, and that was apparently a big mistake because he just ripped into me for that one. You don't put your arm out, don't get your hand close to it, you don't touch anything until I say or give you any kind of permission that you can. So he finally goes into this cooler very carefully as if he's undoing a bomb casing, like as if he's James Bond trying to stop a bomb from going off, which I guess is technically what they look for, but like, come on, dude. So he opens this cooler, takes the shot out very carefully, and takes the lid off of it. I'm like, dude, don't touch the end of it. It has to be sterile. And he's like, I'm not going to, as if I was stupid for saying anything. Like, you don't know what that is. You've probably never seen one before. That's why you're freaking out. You didn't recognize it. So he takes it in his hand, looks at me and says, I'll be right back. And he walks back into the area with all the X-ray tech guys, stands around for a while talking to them, holds the shot up a couple times, walks back, throws it back in the cooler and says, okay, you're free to go. And then I had to put my entire bag back together on the counter. It kind of made me mad that I had to put my whole bag back together with all these people sitting behind me. But after I had that figured out, it was kind of smooth sailing. Through the skies. Holy crap, it was a scary trip taking off. Like, can you imagine, like, you've never been in a well, yeah, there would have been a first time for you. Imagine your first time being in a plane and freaking out a little bit with the turbulence, and your ears plug up, and you're like a small kid, and it's just That wasn't the worst of the takeoffs either. The one dude, while I was in... What was I leaving? I think I was leaving Arizona. He basically took off going straight up. They were behind schedule, so he just, like, took off vertically pretty much. That guy, I don't know who he was, but he was mad. Like, he was crazy, dude. So basically, after that flight, we ended up in Vegas. We had, like, a holdover, so we didn't make it to Arizona yet. But I did get to spend like an hour and a half in Vegas. I also ate a Wendy's burger there. It was horrible, just like every other Wendy's, every other place. I'm about to make some people mad out here. But basically, yeah, that was my experience with Vegas. I went into the airport, there were lots of lights, cool sounds. My dad tried out a slot machine, it was neat. I ate a burger, we jumped on another flight, and we're out of there. So the second flight was a lot easier on me, and it was a lot shorter of a flight than the first one. So we get into Arizona fairly late, sun's going down. By the time we actually manage to gather our bags and everything and get out of the airport, it is dark out. We have no car, and we realize that we need to call an Uber. So my dad downloads the Uber app, and we call our first Uber ever. I don't know if it makes it any more interesting for you guys that I was smack dab in the middle of the city of Phoenix, but I was in Phoenix, Arizona, like right in the middle of the city. And that was one of the biggest cities I have ever been in, next to Philadelphia. My mind was blown. I was standing there and I was like, wow, there's so many buildings, dude, and lights and stuff. And so we're clear, by this time I'm so ridiculously tired that I actually just propped my bag up against a wall, leaned back against that, sitting on the sidewalk, which really hurt. And it was getting kind of cold out, so it was just like sucking the heat away from me. I was super cold, and I was going to sleep next to some homeless dude that was next to the entrance who was just like staring at me. He probably thought I was sick or something. He probably didn't want to catch whatever I had. Probably thought I had like the plague or something, because I probably looked pretty bad by that point. So to complete the scene for you, I'm sitting next to this homeless dude trying to figure out if I'm going to fall asleep there or not. My mom is looking nervously around because she doesn't like cities. My dad is talking about the miracle of technology or something because he's basically calling himself a car or texting himself a car, whatever. And my sister's just standing there like, yay, I like being here. She looked like she was having a great time. I didn't. I wasn't doing well. I was really tired. I don't do well in a situation where I have to deal with people constantly. Like when I get put into a situation like that, where it's just like person after person after person, going through airports and dealing with baggage and everybody's suspicious of me. It gets kind of crazy. So I basically just sat there with my bags for the, 10 or 15 minutes it took for my dad to just figure out the app, call the person, and have them arrive. I just didn't do anything. I shifted positions a couple of times and became less and less comfortable. So the Uber got there, we all threw our bags into the back of this SUV that the Uber driver had, and we all jumped into the car, and I almost immediately started falling asleep. I never made it totally to sleep, I don't think, but I think it was a lot longer of a trip than I thought it was, because I think I was dozing off. I really wasn't feeling very good. So I really don't remember anything from that car ride other than there were a lot of lights, and the lady who drove us was very, very nice. We got to our destination, which was the hotel. My parents managed to get us checked in while I aimlessly kind of wandered around the lobby and then almost fell asleep on one of their couches. And then we got to our room. I walked in. They said, oh, well, you can either sleep on the floor or sleep in the same bed with your sister over there. And I thought, seems weird to me. I went over, lay down on the floor with my head on my backpack, and immediately fell asleep. And that night I had some very, very, very weird dreams. You ever see me in public someplace and you're like, hey bro, I know you from YouTube. You can ask me about the dreams, but otherwise, I'm not telling you. So I got up the next morning and immediately realized I had become a victim of jet lag. So basically, I just kind of stumbled around the room for like a good 2 hours before I even felt well enough to do anything, and my entire family was out running around, so I decided to film myself, I think.
Hello. This is basically an update from yesterday. I'm now in this really nice hotel room. I'll give you a quick span of it.
As you may be able to tell, I was very psyched about the room we got. It was a nice room, you know, TV, really nice bathroom, pretty epic, honestly. But some more trouble was about to arise, because if you're a human being like I am, you also know that we have to eat food. And hotel room food's very, very expensive, so we decided we need to go get something like food so we can eat. So we decided to take a trip to Walmart, and that in itself was a little adventure. So in this video playing here, we're standing outside of the hotel that we're at, which is a resort. It's basically a resort almost. I don't know. Anyway, we're standing there, and we're next to the fountain here. We're waiting for our Uber. So after waiting several minutes and letting my dad get things figured out with the Uber, I realized it was going to be a little bit of a wait. So I decided to go take a walk around with the camera and see what's up around the resort. And check that out. What a beautiful place this was. Like, I legitimately enjoyed staying there. I have no idea where it is or what it's called, but it was a very awesome place. If you've ever stayed in this place and you happen to know what it's called, you should throw it in the comments so I can be like, look at insert name. It's so beautiful. So after a little wait, our Uber finally arrives. We hop in and get to Walmart and start looking for our favorite types of food brands to get, and we realize there's a little bit of a difference in brands and tastes between Pennsylvania and Arizona. For example, Cinnamon Toast Crunch in Arizona does not taste as good as Cinnamon Toast Crunch in Pennsylvania to me. I don't know why this is, whether it's like moisture in the air or some kind of elevation. I couldn't tell you. But it was bad. It was really bad, and I hated it. Our next problem was Middlesworth chips. If you've never heard of Middlesworth, it's because you don't live in Pennsylvania or like directly like an hour from the border of Pennsylvania in any of the states around it. Because basically, it's a Pennsylvania brand. So, of course, we couldn't find any of them in Arizona. No Middlesworth brand anything. It's a Pennsylvania brand. You can't get it anywhere else other than Pennsylvania, and like maybe an hour over the border in some places, rarely. But even with those obstacles, we did manage to finally get out of there with some food we were willing to eat. Also along with some Minecraft collectible figures. But we don't talk about that. So after that, the next 2 days are pretty much wash, rinse, repeat. Go to Walmart for food, walk around the resort, watch TV in the room. It was a good time, but it got tiresome fairly quickly for vacation. Luckily, we actually had a second hotel that we were going to be staying in for the rest of the week after the first 2 to 3 days. And that place was a lot more entertaining. Going to Walmart was pretty much through the city. I didn't get to see the countryside of Arizona. Seeing the countryside like this for the first time was pretty crazy to me because it all just looked like a postcard. Like all the cactuses and weird plants. I'm used to trees, bushes, vines. I'm used to Pennsylvania kind of woods. This is a whole different world for me. And we're probably a half an hour out or so from the new place that we're going to be staying, which is also a resort? I'm not really sure. I can't decide what's a hotel and what's a resort. I think the second place we were at was definitely a resort. Maybe the first place was too. I'm not 100% sure. I might also add that our traveling became improved as well because we decided to rent a car for the rest of the week. So within the first day of being at our next hotel, we go to this place called Burger Rehab. Basically, I'm just taking a video inside the restaurant here, and it is the best place to get burgers everywhere, okay? Literally, this is... Okay, nothing tops the burger that I had at this place. This place was phenomenal. I can't believe how good their burgers were, okay? It was absolutely mind-blowing. I will probably never eat a burger that is as good as that burger ever again, unless I go back to Burger Rehab. Alright, 5 stars all the way. Sadly, it seems nobody decided to take pictures of our new place, and I actually looked around on Instagram for a video of me doing a bottle flip in this place, because it was a beautiful, awesome place that we were in, but I can't seem to find anything. There may be something found later. If I do find it, I'll probably have a My Trip to Arizona Life Part 2 or whatever, where I go back over all the footage I didn't use in this one. But yeah, didn't catch the second place. So for the next several days, I spent a lot of time in the pool, did all kinds of stuff. I played floor hockey, I played golf, I got to go walk around the desert and the mountains and stuff, and that was beautiful, man. The way those mountains curl and stuff, I mean, they do that here too. But because the trees, like, all kind of, like, grow to the same height, you never get to see it. It's so beautiful. I got to go see all these mountains when we took a trip up towards Tombstone, if you know where that is. Pretty cool place. We didn't make it all the way to Tombstone, but it was still cool to be near Tombstone and go and see the kind of landscape all these cowboys would have been in back in the day. Super awesome. So after our vacation ended, it was just a matter of getting back through security, back on the plane, up in the air, down on the ground, out of Philadelphia, and back on home. And that all went very successfully, so I have nothing to talk about that. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. This has been a great video. We're leaving off on a nice, pleasant note this time, which is really, really cool. The last video left off on a very sad note, and I kind of felt bad about it. But this one left on a happy note, so you know what? I'm pretty happy. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been great. Have a good day, everybody. Adios.